This is Conversations with Crystal, brought to you by Gateway Perspectives on Westchester Talk Radio, produced by Shark Creative. And so here we are with part 2 of Conversations with Crystal with Richard Haggerty. We had a lot of robust conversations, so let's keep the conversation going, Richard, shall we?
Absolutely.
I am your host, Crystal Hawkins Siska, Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors President, real estate agent, Bronx native, and current resident of Briarcliff Manor. The goal of this program is to provide great information and awareness about the real estate industry to our members and community.
So you are almost into, well, actually you are into the third quarter. So you're a little bit through half your year as president. Is there anything that surprised you, and what are you most proud of during the first 8 months, almost 8 months of your presidency?
Well, I have to say, I really am thankful to Gail Fatizzi. She really stepped up as not only a mentor and a leader, but a friend. So I would have to say that one of the first things that was a surprise is just the amount of support that I would get from those who came before and those who are around me. I think that's the biggest thing that was a surprise, and I was happy to see it because I think that I'm only as good as the people I'm surrounded by. I mean, not that I don't have my own merit, but I can't get to where I want to go without the help of others. So I do understand and appreciate at a very high level that it's not just about me. It really isn't. So I was really happy at just everyone jumping in with ideas and throwing in their hand and being frank and honest. That was huge. I was also surprised at how the real estate market just kept going crazy and continues. That was like mind blowing. And for the most part, honestly, how many in our industry were compliant and conscientious about themselves and neighbor? That was the highest form of being a humanitarian that I saw in our industry. And sometimes, our industry gets a bad rap at times, but in that way, the professionalism and the care that came from other fellow realtors during this very difficult time, I thought was top notch. So those are some of the things I'm actually the most proud of or happy to see. Excuse me. I'm proud of and happy to see, and not necessarily by my own efforts, but really the expressions from others that I see. I am very happy that we do have the diversity, equity, inclusion officer. That's huge. That we have the committee on hand. That's also really huge. I think this is something that's going to change our industry and our communities for the better. If that's the only thing I accomplished or was able to participate in, that was a carryover from the previous presidency to mine, then I feel like then I've done a great thing in that respect. Also to bring in more awareness to what our industry does and why is it so important to our country. That's the other thing, because I want us to raise the bar on how we see ourselves in the fabric of the American experience, because we're at the center of it, at the very center. So I don't want us to ever take for granted. So we can embrace that. And, I don't know if you want to move forward into talking a little bit about our survey, because we're actually doing some work here collaboratively for our association. Do you want me to talk a little bit about that, or did you want
to? Why don't you touch on that a little bit? Yes, please.
So in moving forward in being a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive organization, we had many say, I don't feel like I see people like me. I don't feel like I'm represented. I don't feel as though we are including everyone. I don't feel that we are hearing the voices of others, are sensitive. And then when I say it's not me personally, but it was some of the expressions that were coming forward. And it really made us come back and sit down and think, okay, if we're going to be serious about this, about making change, what do we even look like? Because it's easy to have a perception or feel a certain way, but feelings are not the same as facts. And what we need is facts. So it meant we had to step into a very, very brave space that would be frightening, is to embark on the fact finding of what we actually look like. Okay, because we don't know. Like we don't know how many of any one group is a part of our association without asking the group, who are you? What do we look like? How do you identify? And actually even asking that question can be very scary, but we are taking it on because one of the things that's a part of our mission statement at the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors is the fact that we're supposed to be helping our agents be a success in our communities. And we can't really be a success in our community unless we see how we're reflecting the community. Are we a reflection of the people that we say we represent? And so we had to dig deep and look into that. And that's why we're doing the survey of association, which gets into some demographic questions and how people identify and how they're experiencing the association already. So we have a group of metrics and data, true facts to work with to figure out where are our weak spots truly, and how can we address that. Any great company has to get factual data in order to build a plan. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels and it's not anything substantive. So we didn't want to fall flat on the job of actually addressing concerns of our community and association without actually getting real data.
And at the end of the day, we did have just slightly under 10% of our membership respond to the survey, which statistically is pretty impressive. I mean, that's a very, I think, meaningful number. So I'm very happy with that response. And I think it's the beginning of a process. We've talked a lot about that, but this, as you said, is not a snapshot in time, that this whole conversation has to continue. And the goal is going to constantly be improving. And we're never going to become perfect, but we've got to continue to strive for that.
Yeah, we really do. And, I think that in doing so, once again, it comes back to our ideals as being Americans. And I think the survey is one of the most American things that we have taken on to execute, because what's the difference between that and the census, right? We go and we ask our citizens a group of questions about who they are. How many people in the household? Do you own property? Are you married? If so, how many children do you have? How do you identify? What are your, in terms of your race? This is data that our country thinks is important. It makes a difference in how we choose our representatives, right? So why don't we just copy behaviors that we as Americans think are important to move us forward in our associations, right? Because we're microcosms of the greater piece of who we are. So I think that when people think about it in those terms, it can calm us down a little bit from feeling a little activated by things that might make us feel uncomfortable, because we're doing this on a massive scale to make us better. So we're following the greats, right? All right.
Well, Crystal, I can tell you that I think you've done an exceptional job as president of HGAR. You've got a great leadership team with Anthony Domitotti and Carmen Bowman and Tony Danzica and past President Gail Patizzi. But you really, all of you have continued to lead during challenging times. And I think the challenging times always provide us with opportunities. And you've helped us take advantage of some of those opportunities, and I applaud you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I also really appreciate individuals like yourself, because you make it easier for us to try to improve upon the association, because you have a genuine concern and you're one of the most humble people I know. You really can take counsel, you open yourself up to new ideas. And when you see that there's a opportunity, or if there's a need for improvement, you are willing to do the deep dive in order to get into an uncomfortable space to make that change. What my hope is that through what we're doing, we'll encourage others to step forward because I know I'm not looking to be in this spot forever, to find other leaders to actually step up and take it over, because we're only as good as those who are around us. I said that before, and who can come up and continue to work and actually continue to innovate. Because if we don't have new, fresh ideas and people and energy moving forward, we won't see the progression and development that's necessary to achieve the greater good that we're trying to accomplish for our industry and for the community. So I hope that this becomes a beacon for others and an encouragement to others to summon their higher selves to participate. So I hope that's one of the other things that I'm looking to close out this year, with having more leaders looking to step forward in terms of advocacy, in terms of taking over spots or presenting new ideas and direction that could be important for our organization, because we have blind spots. But if people can pop up in those blind spots, it can help broaden our vision. So that's what I hope before we close out 2021. Any other parting thoughts that you have, Richard, before we wrap it up?
You know what? The only thing I want to emphasize is we have to continue to have the conversations, and we have to continue to improve our industry so that everybody benefits. All of our members collectively benefit, as well as the consumers benefit. And yeah, I think that we've been going in the right direction for quite some time, because we've historically had such strong leadership with this organization. And I fully believe that's going to continue.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Richard, for being on this episode of Conversations with Crystal. Once again, thank you so much for your leadership, your vision, your patience, your humility, and your heart that you've brought to this organization.
Thank you, Crystal.
All right, so this will wrap up this episode of Conversations with Crystal. If you'd like to have more information about real estate, our association, please check us out at HudsonGateway.com. That's HGAR.com, as well as look at our YouTube and Facebook pages. I am Crystal Hawkins-Siska, your host of this show and current president of Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. Please remember, have those conversations around the table, open up your ideas, and move forward to all be a part of the American promise. We thank you so much, and we'll check you out next time. Bye now.